And you're live with your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, and messenger of God. With another message. It's late night. Interesting enough, my life says 84, 25, 32. How many hours is 84 hours? That's a lot of time. I don't know. Why does it say that? I don't know. Sometimes it does that. When I stop the video, right before I start the video, and try to put it on the internet, it connects to this weird line. It says I've been on live for 84 minutes. Interesting. Sometimes it'll say hours and all kinds of stuff. Anyways, let's go. 84 hours. I have a message from time and space, Father Time. Literally about time. And I just have to hurry up and give it, and hopefully I have enough time to give it. The concept of time. I said in my last video, time is irrelevant. It only exists here. You're the only ones that put time into measurement. You measure time by the rotation of the earth, right? It goes around in a circle, and that creates a day. And it takes a whole year, 365 days, to go all the way around the sun. So in essence, I have cycled around the sun 42 times in this lifetime, which you say is 42 years, which can be broken down into days. Okay? Now, outside of this planet, that doesn't count. Okay? Because the time doesn't exist like that. We don't put a limit on time based on how the planet moves, you know what I mean, through the day and through the solar system. Okay? So there's other planets like Mercury, for example, that can go around the sun in like, I forgot how many days. It doesn't take a whole year to go around. But that's its year. So that means in essence, if we were to break down time and put it on every planet, their time moves faster than our time. Do they have less time? Do you know what I mean? You can't put time on anything but here. And you guys did it. Down to daylight savings time. We're saving daylight by changing time. We're saving daylight by changing time. Giving you more time. Meaning, in spring, we jump forward so you can have more light at night. In fall, we jump backwards. Right? So you can have more light in the morning. It's kind of how it's supposed to work. Whatever. They're trying to save time. Okay. Now, example is, you say that it takes 6 months to accomplish, 2 years, we'll say that. It takes 2 years to get a bachelor's degree. 2 years, which is 365 days, which is how many hours? But how many hours do you put into each of those days to get that degree? Is it 8 hours a day for 5 days a week to get that degree? Okay, I'm not getting into that. I don't have a degree in this. What I'm trying to show is, if I put in more time in a day than the typical, mystic studier of, college degree studier that only puts in 5 hours a day, but I'm putting in 16 to 18 hours a day for 2 years, and they're only putting in 5 years. Do we have the same degree? Have we utilized the same amount of time? But did we both have the same amount of time? Time is irrelevant. It's not real. You say that these planets are light years away, meaning it would take the Earth how many times going around the sun for you to make it there? You put time and distance, meaning light years. You say that, Saturn is so many years as far as time away from us. Light, you know what I mean? Light years. It's going to take you this many years to get there. Meaning in your travel from here to there, the Earth would have run around the world, or went around the sun this many years. Okay? Do you feel like it's years getting there? Only if you're watching the Earth go around the sun. There's no time out there. You don't know what time it is unless someone's telling you what time it is. You're just on a journey. Let's look at your life. Your life has these milestones that they put on it. that you're supposed to be married by this time, you're supposed to graduate by this time, you're supposed to do this by this time. But if I didn't use my first 18 years like everybody else, or even like the Asians that, go to school for 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, and still do after hours, home work, meaning putting more hours at home into it, am I going to have the same education as those people? No. But while I wasn't putting my time into books, I was putting my time into life. So now I have life experience versus book knowledge. Which one is more valuable? It depends. Am I going to be teaching people the things out of the book, or am I going to be living experiences that align with what I've already, I was experiencing instead of reading the books? Will I have to later, now this is where college comes in, later will I have to go put more book experience into my head, or do I have enough life experience to go out and get a good job? It's the difference, okay? Now we go back to me. I spent no time studying mysticism, but I spent all my time in mysticism. There are people that have spent their whole lives studying it for hours upon days. I didn't study it, I applied it. There are people that have studied Christ their whole lives that don't know him. I spent my whole life knowing him, not studying about the life he lived, but knowing how he works in my life and how he exists in my life. Okay? Now I can say that I've done this for 2 years, but I've done this for 2 lifetimes now already. Each year is a lifetime, and you have to keep up with my life to see that. My life is not predictable. It's not on a timetable. It's not 9 to 5 or 5 to 9, 11 to 7, 7 to 11. That's why they call it 7-Eleven, right? Because they were the first organization to be open for those were their hours of operation, from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's where they came from, that, right? Very simplistic, very simplistic. Anyways, going back to it is like, you say it's bedtime, but for somebody else, it's good morning. They're just starting their shift. You know what I mean? Your time is not their time. You're on a different time. You are learning, you know what I mean? You have to put so much of time into each part of your life to get to your milestones of time. And it's not an age, and it's not how many times you went around the sun. Know that. Your age is only how many times you've been on this planet and it's gone around the sun. That's all your age is how many times your body has been around the sun. How old do you feel? Why? Because you've been around the sun 42 times? So, every time you go around it, it's a different we go through the 4 seasons around the motherfucker. But every time, it's like, are you guys wasting your time? Are you on a time loop? A karmic time loop, as we call that. You're just living time out, letting your time expire until the end of your time. Waiting till the end. When is the end of your time? God bless you. It might be the end of his time. Time is irrelevant, because even when your time ends here, time goes on. You go on. The body just ends. The body can only live on this, on this planet for so long. Your dog has an expectancy. It has lots of life, but it can't live longer than that body will allow it to live. Your dog has done no sin. It's committed no sin. I mean, yeah, it pisses on the floor and it probably chews up your shit. That's just a doggy-dog life. Where does it go after this? It never existed. This wonderful life that brought all kinds of, happiness no longer exists in time and space. Or it goes on to another time in a different space. To have more time in a different space. It's infinite. There's cycles. You know what I mean? I come to teach you that as the goddess of the moon is like, death is just the rebirth. The end is only a new beginning. There's no end. We are changing time, meaning we're going to stop living the way that time was. In the essence, it'll be a different time that we live in. meaning we won't be repeating history, but time is only here. You know what I mean? It says that it's, what time does it say that it's here? It says that it's 9:56 here. But that's not what time it is where you are. Are we time zones apart? Or is it just the Matrix tells us we're apart by time? You know what I mean? As far as I said that earlier, I was like, the world isn't big enough. You think that we're far away by distance, but we're not. How far away are you from me? In time. Not miles, in time. You could be here in 5 hours. That's asleep. While I sleep, you can be at the same time as I am. Do you know what I mean? Time is not relevant. Now, when you get to the next place, say that we fly from New York to London. It's a different time. You get there, do you ask what time it is, or do you know what time it is? Do you feel? You can look at the sun or look at the moon and see. How does your body feel? Does your body feel like it's bedtime? They're telling you what time it is. It's time to eat. It's time to work. It's time to play. It's time, you know, today's your birthday. Today's your this day. Today's the day. You control time and how you manage it. It's not real. Only here. We don't, if we were to look at time, it would never exist on the outer planets. It takes Neptune 84 years to go around the sun. That's most of your lifetimes. Now, would you say that a being that lives on Neptune only gets to live one cycle? Like the cicada? The cicada lives in the ground for 17 years. It comes up for one cycle, which is one summer. It lives for one summer and then it's gone. The next ones to come have been waiting for 17 years for their coming. But they only get so much time. All that time just to experience, all that time in the dark, 17 years in the dark for maybe 3 months in the light. Think about this journey. How long do you want to stay in the dark before you come into the light? You know what I mean? And in the essence, it's time is irrelevant. You're putting timetables on yourself. But that's not true outside of this planet. The universe is on its own time, meaning it's not on time. That's what they call divine time. It means it just aligns. That's when you know it's divine, because it's aligned. It was the perfect time. You couldn't see it because it wasn't on your calendar, but it was the right moment. Okay? You can't force these right moments based on how many times you've went around this, how many times this planet's gone around the sun. I should be married by now. Why? Because you rode around the sun 25 times? Now you're entitled to a marriage because of the time. And that's what I mean is by 30 years old, I should be. You rode around the sun 30 times and now you think that you know everything? That you're ready to receive everything good? Or maybe you need to ride around this a couple more times. It's called the wheel of life. I teach you that. A lot of the Wiccans broke it down into smaller portions. What's our next turning point? I believe it's Maboon. I gotta double check, but I believe it's Maboon. We go from Mbalik to Maboon. And then we have our spring equinox. They're really broken down so we can look at time closer. Then you go to the Egyptians. A week for them was 10 days. Not 7, 10. And in those days, you can see, based on our 10 days schedule, they had good days, they had bad days. That's what made a week. You know what I mean? That's how they developed it. And actually, no, it wasn't. It was, we created that. They only had 360 days in their year. Interesting enough, we're the ones that changed time and put time on it. They went by the sun and the moon and the stars. We decided to put it into metrics, to isolate time and say that it takes you this long to accomplish something. It should take you this long to get from here to there. That's not true. maybe if you follow the direct line, but we can get off of that line and get to where we're trying to go, and that's where it is. It's like, time and space. How do beings outside of this planet move with such, stealth? Because we're not limited to the matrix of your understanding. My body's been here for 42 years, but my soul has just arrived. Put that into your time matrix. I'm only 2 years into wearing this body. I'm given 55 years in this body. The body will be, in essence, 99 years old. It would have went around the sun 99 times. But me, I walk it around the sun for the next 55 years. How many years or how many days are in a year? 365. How many hours? How many hours do I spend enjoying? Do I really spend in time? You spend 8 hours a day at work. Gone. That's 1/3 of your day. 24 hours in a day. Then you have how many hours to sleep? So spend 8 hours. There's 16. We're getting close here. How many hours do you have to be a parent? To be to be you? Just period. How many hours do you have for self and responsibilities outside of your 8 hours a day and your 8 hours of sleep? You're not giving yourself enough time. They're taking all your time. It's your time. You decide what time it is. I just had to point that out. That being said, it's time for bed. They're like, no, you shouldn't be going. Who said? We go with what time it feels. And then it's like, it's time to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yup. I've had my rest. Now I have all these hours. And that's it. It's like, time is what you make of it. It's only a limitation if you allow it to be. I've got to get this done by Friday. How many hours do you have till Friday? How many days are in Friday? And what do you have that's stopping you to giving it more time between now and Friday? And realistically, is it your time or is it God's time? I don't know. That's the message. That's what they wanted me to tell you, is stop worrying about what time it is. It's God's time. It's your time. It's not their time. Time isn't real. Do you understand that? They could see the end way in the beginning. They had no idea it would take fucking 100,000 years for this to happen. But that just meant 100,000 cycles around the sun. And that's where my Palladian book breaks down into those, those solar rings and those cycles. The last card we put is we had an end of a cycle. Now we're about to start a new cycle, a new life. Or are you going to continue the same cycle? How many times are you going to go around the sun before it's time to actually see it? I don't know. I love you guys. That's the message. High level, high maintenance, high vibrational. Laters, haters.